Welcome back, everyone. The iPhone 13 just came out, so let's go and compare it against the iPhone 11 and see which one you should pick up. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these, I'll go ahead and leave these linked down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, they actually do have pretty much the same design. The notch is a little bit smaller on the 13, but it's not really that crazy big of a deal. Same size panel. You do have an OLED panel on the iPhone 13, the iPhone 11 IPS panel, and they still look pretty good on the IPS panel, but definitely the 13 has the better display. Pretty much the same peripherals though, lightning ports, nothing else super crazy. The thinness and thickness, obviously flat design on the iPhone 13, making it feel a little bit thinner and also feels much smaller in the hand, which is pretty interesting. The ringer and on-off switch pretty much in the same area, and on the back, and glass backs on both, dual camera setups on both as well, but you can see that the iPhone 13 definitely looks a little bit better. Glass backs and everything, diagonal camera on the iPhone 13, but the camera sensors are much bigger now on the iPhone 13, which makes it a little bit of a cooler device in my opinion. Now on the other side, just a power button and just a 5G connection right here, whatever this is. And that's really pretty much it on the outside. Not a whole else that's different between the two, to be honest. Very much more similar than I thought they were going to be. You know, no 120 hertz on this one, but still very good on both. Now, one big thing is the longevity between both these iPhones. And although the iPhone 11 is still here to stay, it's still going to be a very good iPhone for a couple years from now. You're still going to be getting a longer lasting phone from the iPhone 13. So if you want an iPhone that's going to last you the longest amount of time, this is the better way to go, but it is a more expensive iPhone. You're still going to be getting support for both for a very long time, but do keep in mind that the iPhone 11 isn't going anywhere anytime soon either. So for the time being, for the next several years, both are going to be supported, day one updates and all that good stuff, so there isn't a crazy big reason to go and update. But one thing I wanted to see was actually the speed difference between the two. So let's go and do a speed comparison between both of these. Now the iPhone 11 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, with the iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. There we go. And let me go and clear the apps in the background, which they already cleared out. And let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the iPhone 13, I think, was a little bit faster. We can do music. 3, 2, 1. And about the same too, but I don't know actually which one loaded up which one first. I kind of looked away. Animation wise, they kind of have the same thing going on too, so not a big difference there. Let's do their app stores. 3, 2, 1. And we did get into this little pop-up here. I don't know which one was going to be the faster one here, but we can go ahead and kind of scroll through, and pretty much the same thing. Really not that big of a difference. And by the way, the iPhone 11 is on the right, the iPhone 13 is on the left. Swiping up, let's go and get into something like mail. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 13 definitely was far faster there. Let's get into photos. 3, 2, 1. And pretty much the same thing. We do get into like 50 pop-ups on the iPhone 11. Hopping out of this one. Let's get into camera. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 13 definitely was faster here for sure, I think. Let's get into some of these third-party apps that I have on both these iPhones. Let's do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Definitely the iPhone 13 was faster, but it was, loaded up here on the iPhone 11. Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone 11, again, is going to be a little bit slower. And it was a little bit slower than the iPhone 13, but definitely not anything super crazy in my opinion. Let's get into Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone 11 may have been a little bit faster there. Instagram, I'll go and skip because I'm logged in here. Let's go and get into the stack. 3, 2, 1. And it does look like the iPhone 11 was a little bit faster here, where this one kind of got stuck. I don't know what's going on with the iPhone 13. That is very weird. I don't know why that happened. Let's get into thank you. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 13 was a faster one here. Gameplay wise, again, I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference, but it was pretty noticeable difference in terms of speed right there. Snake for Splocks. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 13, again, is the faster one here by a bit of time. I wasn't expecting this big of a difference between the two, but it's always, good to see big improvements, and that was a pretty big improvement right there. Let's get into Netflix. 3, 2, 1. And again, the iPhone 13 much faster here. Let's get into Bofa. 3, 2, 1. Again, iPhone 13 is faster. iPhone 11 a little bit behind. Let's get into Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And it does look like the iPhone 13 is far ahead of the iPhone 11. And again, these are good things. I want to see these types of improvements, and there does seem to be a bit of an improvement from the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 13. Now let's go and get into this game and see if there's any speed differences or anything. This is a pretty basic game, but even then there were some glitches right there. And both are kind of doing the same thing, so there's not really that big of a difference. And to be honest, that pretty much covers up a majority of the apps that I wanted to test. Now, this is a basic speed comparison, like I mentioned. I will be doing a full one probably within the next week or two. But as I mentioned before, you're pretty much getting almost similar speed. I think the iPhone 13 is faster here, but based off what Apple was saying in their keynote, they made it seem like there was going to be a substantial difference. And they do this every year, but there really wasn't a crazy big difference. I think the 13 is faster, but the iPhone 11 isn't even that far behind, in my opinion. So, again, full speed comparison coming and full camera comparison coming too, but we'll go and hit on them very briefly right now. Now, as I mentioned before, dual camera setups on both of these phones. The iPhone 11 has an ultra-wide sensor and a wide-angle lens, and the same exact thing for the iPhone 13, but I want you to notice how much bigger the sensors are on the iPhone 13 over the iPhone 11. Now, a big thing to keep in mind with both of these sensors is that they both can shoot in the same video resolutions. So both can do 4K at 60, so you're not going to see that big of a difference. You may already be able to tell a little bit of a difference from the camera UI, but the main thing that we have now in terms of the actual camera app are the feature set. So we still have video, portrait mode, panoramic mode. You can still see all these similar things. But now if you swipe to the side, you now get this new cinematic mode on the iPhone 13, which is really cool. It essentially is like portrait mode for video, and I think it's awesome. Like I said in my full video comparison, I'll go ahead and kind of break it down a little bit more. But that basically is the main differentiating factor. I'm sure photo quality and everything's going to be the same, but to be honest, they've all kind of been the same since like the iPhone 10. Now, the iPhone 11's camera is still going to be very good. I've had very few issues with this specific sensor, and like I mentioned before, this is a very good camera still. You have that ultra-wide sensor so you can zoom out a lot in a photo, and I love the sensor a lot, but the thing that I've heard the most is that the iPhone 13's ultra-wide sensor has actually gotten a little bit of an improvement, more so than even the iPhone 12, so that's a pretty cool thing, but the iPhone 11's camera is still pretty good. Now, on top of that, the iPhone 13 is definitely the better camera setup. You're going to be getting a better camera from this phone without a doubt. And this goes without saying. One thing that I've noticed immediately is that, switching from a wide angle lens to the ultra wide sensor, it's actually a smoother experience. I was not expecting this, to be honest. I was expecting it to be glitchy and just kind of annoying. That is not actually what happened, and I think that's actually a really cool thing. So on the iPhone 13, you're definitely getting a better camera setup. I will, like I mentioned, test it more thoroughly and all that stuff, but I think for the time being, the iPhone 11's camera is still really good. But the iPhone 13's camera is probably the better one, but is it really? We'll go ahead and test it out thoroughly in the next couple of days. So now this brings us to the end of the video, and to honestly, if I could just be completely honest with you guys, I do think that the iPhone 13 is a really good phone. I think it's perfect. It has a lot going for it. It's definitely the best iPhone that Apple's released, well, the 13 Pro Max and 13 Pro, but this is still a really good phone. This is amazing for the value. It's a pretty decent phone, but I don't think it's even that big of an upgrade from the iPhone 11. It's definitely not an amazing upgrade from the iPhone 12. The 13 Pro is a bigger upgrade for sure, but the iPhone 11, again, it surprises me every time I pick it up. It does feel a little bit older because of that thicker design and the thicker bezels, and because of that curved architecture in terms of the curved design here. But even then, I don't think it feels super outdated, and with the case, it's probably not going to feel that much different than an iPhone 12 or 13. But I just don't know. I think this phone is still a very good value per dollar. It's a tremendous phone at that. I think the iPhone 13 is the much better phone here. Like, if you have to pick up one and you have all the money in the world, then obviously get the iPhone 13. It's worth the money. But if I had an iPhone 11, I don't think I would go to an iPhone 13 at all. There really isn't anything that's telling me to go upgrade to this. The battery size is obviously, it's said to be bigger on the iPhone 13, but I've still had really good battery life on my iPhone 11 as well. So I don't even think I would go from an iPhone 11 to the 13 just for the battery life, because although it's an improvement, I don't think it's going to be like a crazy big one. If you want battery life, go for the 13 Pro Max, but you can also get an 11 Pro Max, get very good battery life from there too. So I guess we'll see what happens. I think ultimately these two phones are great. The 13 is the better one, but the iPhone 11 is still a really good value per dollar in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Like I mentioned, if you want to pick these things up, links are down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.